By the lady from the 71st, Douglas Kimball.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please bow your heads and pray the Lord's Prayer with me? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory. Amen.
Members and guests will please remain standing as we are led in the Pledge of Allegiance today by the children from the 100th Douglas right now.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members and guests may be seated. Reading the Journal.
Journal of the House of Delegates, February 5th, 2026.
Journal from the 79th, Douglas Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that it be approved as having been read.
Gentleman from the 79th asks unanimous consent that further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that it be approved as having been read. Are there objections? No objections are heard. Further reading of the journal will be dispensed with. Introductions. Gentleman from the 78th, Douglas Chiarelli.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, in the South Gallery, I have with here that's a constituent of mine. If he would please stand. He is a member of the Monongalia County Executive Committee. He is a fierce law enforcement advocate and a well-known patriot in the Morgantown area. Mr. John Sadowski is here. Please make him feel welcome.
Gentleman from the 13th, Douglas Heckert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Zoe Scott and Jonathan Santiago from Wood County JDC. They're working to get themselves straightened up and on the right track. Please make them feel welcome.
From the 79th, Douglas Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the South Gallery today, we have students from the West Virginia University School of Social Work and Hallie Stewart from the National Association of Social Workers. They're here for Social Work Advocacy Day. If the House could please make them welcome.
Gentleman from the 25th, Douglas Hornbuckle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning, colleagues. I have a dear family friend and small business owner with us today. In the West Gallery, we have Stevie Browning from Logan, West Virginia, former standout at Marshall University, and here on behalf of Recovery Day. House, please make him feel welcome.
Gentleman from the 17th, Douglas Pinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm joined today on the House floor by a special young lady. She's an 11-year-old, and in her 11 years, she's been through a lot. And she's brave and she's strong. Most people will never know all that she's been through, but I'm proud of her. And a lot of people around her are proud of her. So first, if the House would please make Ms. Crimson feel welcome. Joining Ms. Crimson in the North Gallery, if they'd please stand as I say their name, Tyler and Samantha Veers, and then Miss Robin Veers. Tyler and Samantha are Crimson's mother and father, and then Miss Robin is her grandmother. If the House would please make them feel welcome.
Gentleman from the 46th, Delegate Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Delegate Canterbury and I have 3 pages today. They're all 6th grade students at Eastern Greenbrier Middle School. They're already out here roaming around on the floor. If they'll wave when their name is called, please. Zayden Walker, Jackson Parker, and Jackson Hilton. And in the North Gallery, they're here with Rasmund Walker, who is Zayden Walker's father, Pat Parker, who is Jackson Parker's father, and Kim Lewis, who is Jackson Hilton's grandmother. Will the House please give them a wild and wonderful West Virginia welcome?
Gentleman from the 54th, Delegate Pushkin is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I believe they are here on behalf of Recovery Advocacy Day. We have some of my favorite constituents from the East End, some women from the Ray of Hope, if they would stand. Ray of Hope is a wonderful facility on the east end of Charleston that has been changing the lives of women from all over the country, really, and they do an excellent job, and they are led by their fearless leader, Haley Walker. Please make them feel welcome.
Lady from the 56th, I get Young.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. I've got 2 pages with me today. They're already getting to work. If they would stand, we've got Olivia Egerton from South Charleston and Katie Bryant from Scott High School, and they're joined by their moms in the West Gallery, Megan and Jennifer. If everyone would make them feel welcome.
Are there further introductions? If not, standing committee reports.
Your Committee on Health and Human Resources has had under consideration House Bill 4474, extending the Alzheimer's Disease and Other Dementia Advisory Council sunset date, and House Bill 5022, relating to expanding the programs to be included in the annual capitation rate review, and reports the same back with the recommendation that each do pass.
Order be received.
Your Committee on Health and Human Resources has had under consideration House Bill 4767, relating to requiring the Bureau for Medical Services to file a legislative rule, and reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation of committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration House Bill 4501, relating to dietitian licensure compact, reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation of committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 4466, extend the public intoxication of alcohol code to include being under the impairment of narcotics in public, and House Bill 4695 to double the criminal penalty for anyone found guilty of sexual assault on a minor, and reports committee substitutes back therefore with recommendation each do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Finance had under consideration House Bill 4089, preservation of hair during chemotherapy, also known as the Jessica Huffman bill, and reports the same back with the recommendation that the bill do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Finance had under consideration House Bill 4297, relating to authorizing the Municipal Pensions Oversight Board to promulgate a legislative rule relating to exempt purchasing, and reports the same back with the recommendation that the bill do pass, but first be referred to your Committee on the Judiciary.
Report will be received. The bill will be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary. Other standing committee reports. If not, select committee reports, executive messages, Senate messages.
Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed committee substitute for Senate Bill 256, authorizing DEP to promulgate legislative rules.
The message be received. The bill will be referred to the Committee on Energy and Public Works. Other Senate messages, resolutions, petitions, bills introduced.
House Bill 5276, supplemental appropriation, Department of Commerce.
Gentleman from the first.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to further reading of the bills introduced be dispensed with, that each bill be considered as having been formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the chamber automation system.
Gentleman from the first asked unanimous consent that the further reading of bills introduced be dispensed with, and that each bill be considered as having been formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the chamber automation system. Are there objections? No objections are heard. Motions, unfinished business, bills on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4026, relating to expanding the requirements for integrated resource plans utility companies must file with the Public Service Commission.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? No objections are heard. Gentleman from the 10th, Douglas Anderson, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill requires regulated power companies to expand their integrated resource plans in order to include potential uses of advanced transmission technologies. The plans are to include economic and technological feasibility, estimated costs and benefits to ratepayers, and estimated deployment timetables. The bill defines advanced transmission technologies as all forms of technology that increase performance in transmission lines, such as advanced conductor designs and advanced control systems. I urge passage.
Again, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman from the 29th, Douglas Dillon, is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill was taken up for consideration in Energy and Public Works. And based upon the testimony that we heard in committee, the provisions in this bill dealing with congestion in particular do not appear to be targeted toward alleviating or helping concerns for transmission for customers within the state of West Virginia. It appears as though it has a lot to do with these ultra-high voltage transmission line projects which are being proposed to carry electricity into states neighboring us. If we require the utilities to include this in their resource plans, and if they propose to the PSC that they adopt these technologies, the cost of this will be up to the PSC to factor into the base rate calculation. And leaving it up to the PSC to make these determinations about ratepayer costs is how we got where we are right now. For these reasons, because I do not see that this is going to be a benefit to our West Virginia citizens and ratepayers, I cannot support this bill. I do appreciate that incorporating advanced technologies could be beneficial in certain circumstances if it's going to actually help our transmission within the state, get up the holler, get over the mountain, make sure the trees don't fall on it, that sort of thing. This does not appear to be targeted toward alleviating those concerns. So for that reason, I'm going to be a no on this, and I would encourage you to join me. Thank you.
Question again before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman attempt Douglas Anderson to close debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've explained the bill. This gives the opportunity for us to explore the ramifications of adopting advanced technology, and the PSC will evaluate those reports and make a decision in the best interest of the ratepayers of the state. I urge passage of the bill.
Debate on the bill has been closed. The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? Gentleman, the 47th, Douglas Canterbury, your vote's not registered. Clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 86 ayes, 6 nays, and 7 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares that bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4026.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4382. Require collection agencies to provide a 30-day notice prior to wage garnishments.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained or of having the bill read? No objections are heard. Gentleman, the 64th, Douglas Burkhammer, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee substitute amends Chapter 47, Article 16, Section 4 by adding a new subsection requiring collection agencies to provide written notice by regular mail to the debtor's last known address at least 30 days prior to the initial garnishment of wages. The bill also requires collection agencies to provide the debtor with a monthly statement indicating the amount collected by wage garnishment and the remaining balance owed. I urge passage.
Is there debate on the bill? If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. There were 91 ayes, 1 nay, and 7 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4382.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4461, establishing limitations on billing practices of internet or telecommunications providers that fail to provide subscribed customers with service for 5 or more days.
Question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? No objections are heard. Gentleman, the 10th, Douglas Anderson, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill amends the code to establish limitations on billing practices of internet or telecommunications providers that fail to provide subscribed customer service for 5 or more days, 120 hours. It requires providers to automatically credit the customer's account for the lack of service proportional to the number of days of disrupted service, designates the Attorney General to enforce the section, requires providers to provide certain data to the Consumer Protection Division of the Attorney General, and establishes the confidentiality of that data. And finally, It provides that these provisions do not apply to mobile service disruptions. This was very similar to a bill passed by this House last year. I urge passage of the bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You've heard the bill explained. The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 92 ayes, 0 nays, and 7 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4461.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title is read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Further bills on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4552 relating to the law enforcement powers of correctional officers.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? No objections are heard. Gentleman from the 55th, Douglas Akers, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 4452 deals with powers that are granted to our correctional officers, clarifies that DCR officers are law enforcement with powers enumerated under the relevant code section, provided that they successfully complete the appropriate Corrections Training Academy program. Clarifies that the correctional officer seeking employment as a law enforcement officer with a West Virginia law enforcement agency or by any other state institution of higher ed or by a hospital or by the PSC, which may qualify as law enforcement officers, are still required to be certified and attend a West Virginia State Police Academy training course. Clarifies their designation applies to active officers and qualified retired. Clarifies that all correctional officers recognized as qualified officers for LEOSA purposes, Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act, are eligible to receive their LEOSA identification qualifications pursuant to applicable federal and state code, and then makes technical, linguistic, and stylistic changes to the relevant code section. That's a brief description of the bill, Mr. Speaker. I urge passage.
You've heard the bill explained. The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. We had 92 ayes, 0 nays, and 7 members absent. A majority of members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4552.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4570 to make the posting of a summons in a conspicuous place on rental property acceptable service when a tenant is unavailable for personal service.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? No objections are heard. Gentleman from the 55th to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The clerk's description of the short title tells you what the bill is. The bill also provides for the mandatory rules with regard to how this service is to be effectuated. That's a short description of the bill, Mr. Speaker. I urge passage.
You've heard the bill explained. The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Gentleman from the 57th, Douglas Lewis, is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the Chair Judiciary yield for just a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Under the Code Section 3765, Notice of Termination of Tendency, that section actually, that doesn't have any substantive changes. We're just creating like bullet points. Am I correct in that?
Tell me which provision you're looking at again, sir. I apologize.
3765, Notice of Terminate Tendency.
And you asked if it creates any new law?
It doesn't create, there's no substantive changes. All we're doing is just got bullet points. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, it would be, if you look at subparagraph D, that would be different. That's where it provides for notice of termination by posting. The rest of it's the same. Yes, sir.
Okay, got you. All right, and then in the next section, 553A1, as far as, because I know now Rule 4, as far as the traditional service by the sheriff, that's not necessarily mandatory. So the plaintiff, the petitioner, he can choose how, if he wants the third-party service or the sheriff's service. Am I correct?
That's correct, or certified mail.
Or certified mail.
Yes, sir.
And like, as far as that third party is concerned, I know it has to be somebody that doesn't have any, stake in the game, so to speak. Who is that person? Does that person have to have any credentials? Who does that person have to be?
It could be the same person who would provide traditional service, could be a process server, could be a private investigator, could be a friend you would ask to do it, as long as they don't have any financial interest in the transaction. It could be anyone.
Okay, so that person that's that third party, they're not paid to provide that service?
You can pay them.
You
If you hire a process server, you could pay them to do this for you. That's right.
Okay, gotcha. And as far as, and just to reiterate that, who chooses that type of service? Would the judge choose that, or would the petitioner choose that?
It's the petitioner, but keep in mind, this could either be the landlord or it could be a tenant. Sometimes a tenant will sublease the property. So there's a provision here as well that talks about when a tenant may effectuate this same notice upon someone that is a sublessee. So again, it could be property owner or the tenant themselves.
Okay, thank you for yielding.
Yes, sir.
Just want to speak to the bill.
Yes, gentleman is recognized.
Again, I was a magistrate, and one of the things we did evictions and wrongful occupations. I've done hundreds of evictions. So oftentimes when we think about this, we're thinking about it maybe from a tenant perspective. But, you know, the landlords are also hurt by this process too. So I like the spirit of this bill. However, I do think there are some technical issues as far as due process is concerned, particularly when you're having that third party who could really just be anybody, you know, posting that notice to your door. That person could be out of town. That person could be, a truck driver or working a night as a nurse, anything. That person may have already moved out. And by just doing this process, I think while the spirit is to cut down to make sure landlords are actually getting that person out of the property so they can re-rent it, I think it can prolong it because you're going to have some due process complaints. And again, what we're trying to do is cut it down, but I think it can, the process can be elongated because you're going to have those appeals. Like I said, I like the spirit of the bill, but for those reasons, I'll be a no. Thank you.
Is there further debate on the bill? Does the gentleman wish to close debate on the bill? If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 84 ayes, 8 nays, and 7 members absent. Majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares that bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4570.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. For the bills on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4625 relating to quitclaim deeds.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? No objections are heard. Gentleman from the 88th, Douglas Hillenbrand, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee substitute amends Chapter 11, Article 22, Section 1, relating to excise tax on the transfer of real property by revising the definition of document for purposes of determining when the excise tax applies and increasing the value of real property exempt from the transfer tax from $100 to $1,000. The committee substitute also requires the exemption threshold be calculated using the appraised value divided by 60% to close a loophole under which filers may report a property value below the transfer tax threshold, even though the true value of the property exceeds that threshold, and adds 2 new exemptions for transfers of real property without consideration involving oil and gas or other mineral interests, and transfers without consideration between natural persons and limited liability companies wholly owned by the same natural persons. Finally, the committee substitute also amends the definition of person to include the member-managed staff of a limited liability company and expands the exemption between family members to include transfers between siblings, between stepchildren and stepparents, and between great-grandparents and great-grandchildren. I urge passage.
You've heard the bill explained. The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. We had 91 ayes, 1 nay, and 7 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares that bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4625.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Are there further bills on third reading? If not, bills on second reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4012, relating to reducing the regulatory burden on utility companies when constructing and maintaining electric power generation and transmission facilities within the state.
Gentleman the first.
Mr. Speaker, unanimous consent to postpone action 1 day.
Is there objection to postponing action 1 day on the bill? No objections are heard. Action on the bill will be postponed by 1 day. Further bills on second reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4198, E-Verify Safe Harbor Act.
Gentleman the first.
Mr. Speaker, unanimous consent to the bill be advanced to third reading with general right to amend.
Is there objection to advancing the bill to third reading with general right to amend? No objections are heard, and the bill will be so advanced. Further bills on second reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4522, banning foreign-backed spending on state ballot issues.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4755, adding aggravated vehicular homicide to the list of qualifying offenses.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4982, Make West Virginia Healthy Act of 2026.
Are there amendments?
Delegate Clark moves to amend the committee substitute. This is House HFA Clark 2-4 number 1.
Are there objections to having the amendment explained or having the amendment read? No objections are heard. Gentleman 99, Delegate Clark is recognized to explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, a simple amendment. We want to make sure that we're sourcing foods locally, having our Department of Ag working with the Office of Healthy Lifestyles to source local foods for this, so I urge passage.
Gentleman from the 23rd, Delegate Worrell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to say thank you to the delegate from the 99th for his work in collaboration with the Department of Agriculture, and I support the amendment. Thank you.
Question again before the House is the adoption of the amendment as explained by the sponsor, the gentleman from the 99th, Delegate Clark. Is there debate on the amendment? Gentleman wish to further close debate on the amendment. If not, those in favor of adoption of the amendment will please say aye. Aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. The chair declares that amendment adopted. Are there other amendments to the bill?
Delegates Statler and Tony move to amend the committee substitute. This is HFA Statler and Tony 2-6 number 2.
Are there objections to allowing the sponsors to explain the amendment in lieu of having the amendment read? No objections are heard. Gentleman from the 77, Delegate Statler, to explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This amendment would allow high schools to utilize the existing facilities, if available, to be used for some of the health initiatives within this bill. It allows the Department of Education to more easily administer the presidential fitness test, and the previous language would have been more difficult for the State Department to administer this test. I have conferred with the Chairman of Health, who helped draft this language of this amendment. That is a summary of the amendment, Mr. Speaker. I urge passage.
The question is on the adoption of the amendment just explained by the sponsor. Gentleman from the 23rd, Delegate Worrell, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I want to say thank you to the Chair and Vice Chair of Education for working with the Department of Education to clarify this amendment in the bill, and I support the amendment. Thank you very much.
Is there further debate on the amendment? If not, those in favor of adoption of the amendment will please say aye. Aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. The chair declares that amendment adopted. Are there other amendments to the bill? If not, the bill will be advanced to third reading. Further bills on second reading? If not, bills on first reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4011, relating to advanced recycling.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4053, to establish the Blue Envelope Program.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4179, to create felony charge for individuals who assault police officers or police dogs.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4345, relating to the preservation of missing person records and evidence.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4468, relating to confidentiality of court files and law enforcement records.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4600, require all ballots for primary and general election be received no later than the close of the polls on Election Day.
Bill will be advanced.
House Bill 4749, relating to adding requirements to the Foster Child Bill of Rights.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4893, increase the penalties for contempt of court in magistrate court.
Bill will be advanced. Other bills on first reading? If not, leaves of absence. Gentleman the first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For our colleagues, Delegates Fluharty, Hall, Horace, Kump, Doug Smith, Street, and Vance.
Are there objections to leaves of absence being granted? No objections are heard. Those leaves of absence will be granted. Introductions. Gentleman number 28, Delegate Browning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to announce that today's physician for Doc of the Day program is Dr. Kirti Kunchala. If the House could make her feel welcome.
Are there further introductions? If not, miscellaneous business. Gentleman from the first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move, subject to announcements, the House adjourn until Monday, 11 a.m.
Are there announcements? Gentleman from the first.
Mr. Speaker, your Rules Committee will meet Monday at 10:45 a.m. in the Speaker's conference room. Additionally, a staff attorney meeting will convene immediately following the floor session in the Speaker's conference room.
Gentleman from the 72nd, Doggett Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Subcommittee on Revenue will meet Monday, February 9th at 9 a.m. for a budget hearing from the Parkways Authority. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from the 41st, Delegate Maynor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Subcommittee on Homeland Security will meet immediately following floor session to continue their agenda for today. Your Subcommittee on Courts will meet immediately following Homeland Security. And for your Judiciary Committee and subcommittees, they will meet on Monday, February 9th in the Judiciary Committee room. Committee on Judiciary will meet at 9 a.m. Republican members of the committee will caucus in the chairman's office at 8:45 a.m. Subcommittee on Courts will meet at 9:45 a.m. Subcommittee on Homeland Security will meet at 10 a.m. and your Subcommittee on Legal Services will meet at 10:15 a.m. and all agendas will be posted.
Gentleman from the 68th, Doggett Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your subcommittees on local government and agriculture, commerce, and tourism will not meet today. Your Standing Committee on Government Organization will meet Monday at 1 p.m. in the Government Organization Committee room. The agenda will be posted, and Republicans will caucus at 12:45 in the chair's office. Additionally, your Subcommittee on Local Governments will meet Monday at 2 p.m. in the Government Organization Committee room. The agenda is posted.
Gentleman from the 92nd, Doggett Height.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Health and Human Resources will meet Monday, February 9th at 3:30 p.m. in the Health and Human Resources Committee room. Republican members will caucus at 3 p.m. The agenda will be posted. Thank you.
Gentleman from the 43rd, Doggett Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Standing Committee on Education will meet Monday, February the 9th at 1 p.m. in the Education Committee room. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman from the 88th, Doggett Hillenbrand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Veterans Caucus will meet Monday morning, 0700 in the McManus room.
Are there further announcements? If not, the question is on the motion that the House adjourn to 11 a.m. Monday. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We are adjourned to 11 a.m. Monday.